So you're moving to San Antonio and have all these questions about what it's like living in San Antonio, where are the best places to live in San Antonio, where are the best neighborhoods for families in San Antonio, and no doubt your list of questions just keeps going. So today we are talking about the top frequently asked questions that I get asked pretty much every day from people that are moving to San Antonio. But before we get started on that, if this is your first time to my channel and you are looking for all the info on living in San Antonio, Texas and where to live in San Antonio, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you can see all of the videos that I create all about living in San Antonio, Texas. And if you're ready to take the first steps in planning your move to San Antonio, that's what I love to do. You can find all of my contact info in the description box or the pinned comment just below this video. Okay, now getting to answering the 15 most important FAQs when moving to San Antonio, Texas. This list is a compilation of so many questions that I get asked on both comments from my other videos and through DMs and just other conversations that I have with people. And they really cover a vast array of topics that are important for you to consider. So stick around to the end because there are probably at least a few of these that you've been wondering about as well. Number 1, which suburb of San Antonio has great schools and low median home prices? Now, this is kind of a tricky question just because everyone has a different opinion of what low median home prices are. But just based off of that, I'm going to recommend a few of the options for San Antonio suburbs that are known for having highly rated school districts and more affordable options that are close to San Antonio's current median home prices, which are currently around $346,000 for all of Bexar County. And the suburb or area that I would recommend for that would be Schertz or Cibolo, Texas. These two cities are located on the northeast side, just outside of San Antonio on the I-35 corridor heading towards Austin. This area in general is very well developed, so you're close to all the necessities and entertainment that you could need, and it's also very close to JBSA Randolph Air Force Base and Fort Sam Houston if you're stationed there, and there's easy highway access to get to all the other areas of San Antonio as well. The school district here, which is Schertz Cibolo Universal City ISD, it has an overall A rating on niche.com, and it's also ranked number 64 out of more than 1,000 school districts in all of Texas. The current median home price in the Schertz Cibolo area ranges from $335,000 to about $365,000, and you'll find a mixture of both resale and new construction homes in this area. Now, for even more on San Antonio suburbs, make sure to check out this video next that is all about suburbs of San Antonio once you're done watching this one. The next question is super specific, but it's a question that I've gotten variations of from different people that have visited San Antonio and either stayed with a relative or maybe a random Airbnb. So here goes. I've been to San Antonio 2 times. I noticed that it's super messy. Perhaps it's just that part of town. However, everywhere I look, nobody seems to do any kind of yard work or upkeep on their houses. Dead trees in everyone's yards, front porches all cluttered, and downright not looking so good. But please explain if you can. Okay, here's my response to that. It sounds like you were in an area that's probably not a true representation of the overall beauty of San Antonio or the pride of ownership that many San Antonio homeowners have. I mean, of course, there are plenty of rundown areas or pockets in San Antonio, as with any city, but without knowing the specific area that you visited, it's kind of hard to explain. But that is not the typical situation here. Throughout much of the city, you will find numerous HOA-regulated neighborhoods that do not allow for yards to be overgrown or cluttered or unkept, or for the exterior of homes to be in need of lots of repairs. That's not to say that every HOA neighborhood is maintained in the same way, and don't get me wrong, there are many non-HOA neighborhoods that do not look the way you described. But my point is, if you're trying to get a good feel for the area and options on places that you would like to consider living when you move to San Antonio, it's just best to get some ideas from someone local that really knows the entire city so that you're exploring multiple spots throughout the city and not just one area. Do you have to have flood insurance in San Antonio? So people hear that San Antonio is in a floodplain and of course have questions about how severe it is, what areas are prone to flooding, whereas flood insurance required, etc., etc. And San Antonio is one of the most flood-prone regions in North America, so you will definitely experience some sort of flash flooding here, especially if you live near low water crossings. But flood insurance is really only required in some very specific areas and will be determined by your mortgage company if it is required on that particular area. Is Alamo Ranch a good place to live with kids? That is a quick yes. Alamo Ranch is located in the fastest growing destination area in all of San Antonio, specifically for families that are moving to San Antonio from all over the country. It is very newly developed, so most of the amenities, shopping, entertainment, schools are modern and new, as are many of the neighborhoods and homes. The appeal of the Alamo Ranch area to many families is that there are highly rated schools and tons of family-friendly amenities, activities, and entertainment in this area. Moving on to the next question. I've been seeing comments on social media from Texas saying things about Californians and not to California my Texas and stop coming to Texas and stuff like that. I don't want to make the move away from people just to be surrounded by more people that hate me because I moved to Texas. Any insights? Okay, so here's the thing. There are people here that are overly extreme with their Texas pride and come across as but in my experience, because trust me, I've been slammed by those social media trolls that have dumb comments on my videos and posts, and they use social media as a shield to be able to say whatever they want. But in real life, they rarely actually say any of these things out loud, and certainly not to your face. In general, you'll find out that most Texans love living in Texas and love the idea of what it means to live in Texas. So most just don't want drastic changes to come along with the shift in population that would make it similar to other states in the country. It's the best way that I can say it without getting too much into politics in this video. Plus, there are literally people no matter where you go, but you will be surprised to find out about how friendly people actually are in San Antonio. That's one comment that most people that move here do have in common, is that people are so nice and friendly here, so don't worry about trolls. Another frequently asked question about moving to San Antonio is in regards to property taxes. I know the taxes are higher and that's not going to change, but what kind of tax breaks are available there? Yes, it's no secret that property taxes are higher here. With no state income tax, the state has to collect extra somewhere, and that's where they collect. There are, however, exemptions that you can file that help alleviate some of your property tax bill. There is a homestead exemption that you can file if this is your primary residence, which will reduce the assessed value of your home, which effectively lowers the tax bill. And there are also exemptions for those that are over 65 or disabled. The next question that many people that are moving to San Antonio are interested in finding out is, I'm looking for safe but also diverse areas in San Antonio for my family. It looks like there are quite a few options, but I want to make sure that we make the right decision. Can you help? Absolutely, I can help. But when asking questions about safety or crime or diversity, it's really important to remember that everyone has different opinions about what is considered safe or what is considered high or low crime rate or what is considered a diverse area. So you will want to do some research of public data regarding crime rates in certain areas, like at sanantonio.gov or neighborhoodscout.com or even areavibes.com, and exclude any areas that you feel wouldn't work for you. Regarding diversity, you'll find that as a whole, the city of San Antonio is very diverse. But if you are looking for specifics on diversity, you can find that information at niche.com or bestneighborhood.org, where they'll map out diversity and diversity scores for the entire city, as well as overall diversity for San Antonio suburb areas. Then we can take that info combined with your other community and home needs and wants and find the perfect options for you. Are the mosquitoes a nuisance year-round or just in the summer? I hate mosquitoes. They're such a pain. Thankfully, they do tend to disappear briefly during the colder months and then terrorize us mostly during the summer. They are here during the spring and fall too if the temperatures stay really warm during those seasons, and especially if we see lots of rainfall. So you will definitely want to invest in some citronella candles, mosquito spray, or even yard treatments if possible. Would you recommend living in downtown San Antonio? I am looking for quiet and relaxing. Okay. Living in downtown San Antonio is a very specific lifestyle that appeals to people that are seeking that specific lifestyle. Obviously, the downtown area is the heart of the entire city and the place where you will find the most culture, events, galleries, museums, amazing food, and nightlife. There is always something going on downtown, and it is also the #1 hotspot for tourists visiting San Antonio. There's always traffic, issues finding parking, and the list just goes on and on. Even though it's super fun to experience and it's so full of life and excitement, I wouldn't consider it quiet or relaxing, and would definitely have different options for you if those are your top 2 criteria. But we can always discuss some other things you are looking for just to see if it would or would not be a fit for you. Are the heat and humidity really that bad? I feel like that has to be better than freezing temps or shoveling snow for 6 months out of the year. So yes, from all of the families that have moved here from the northern part of the US and even from Canada, the heat and humidity just don't compare to the sub-zero temperatures and shoveling snow and battling ice for half of the year. Personally, I would much rather have the heat than the cold, but from what I've been told, it really only takes you about a week or so, even if you move during the middle of the summer, for you to get used to the different type of climate that we have here. And as a bonus, it's not nearly as humid here as it is in the Houston area or the Gulf Coast areas of Texas. There are tons of options for water activities during the summer to help you keep cool and from noticing the heat so much. Another frequently asked question when moving to San Antonio is, what are the best, safest gated communities to live in San Antonio? That's actually a great one, and there are options for gated communities all over San Antonio and even in the suburbs of San Antonio. But for the most selection of homes and gated communities, that will be on the north side of the city in the 281 area. There are several subdivisions in the Canyon Springs area, Stone Oak, and even Summer Glen that are gated. And along the I-10 corridor on the northwest side of the city, there is also the Dominion, the Fair Oaks Ranch area, and the Bernie area as well that offer plenty of gated communities. Now, those are all more luxury type communities, so if you're looking for a bit lower on price ranges, you can find homes in gated communities on the far west side of San Antonio, in the Helotes area or the Alamo Ranch area. Again, there are many others throughout the city. Those are just some that are a little more popular. We are moving to San Antonio early next year, but thinking we should rent first before buying so we can get to know the area first. Is that how most people that are moving to San Antonio do it? So of course, there are people that don't have the option to buy, and renting is the only way. But I always say that if you can buy, then you definitely should buy a home in San Antonio. And not at all saying that just because I'm a realtor. From a financial standpoint, and considering that rents have increased by 12% over the past year, in many cases you can buy a home for the same or maybe a little bit more than you would be spending in rent anyway. And your mortgage payments would go towards building the equity over that year or 2 years instead of just going directly into your landlord's pocket. You also have much less in selection and options for rentals, as they still move pretty quickly, so you don't always get the option to choose the specific neighborhood or school boundaries that you would if you were buying. There are actually so many other advantages to buying a home in this market, even with the higher home values and interest rates. I will have a link to a post and video linked in the description box below for more information on that. Should I be scared of finding snakes in my yard? This is actually a pretty common question from people that are moving to San Antonio. Snakes are pretty common here in Texas, and you should definitely be cautious while outside, but I wouldn't say it's something that you should always be scared of. People have found snakes in their yards or walking trails and streets and etc. So it does happen, but not to everyone. I've lived in South Texas all of my life, and I've never seen a snake in person, except at the zoo or the snake farm. Another very common question, but also a very important one, is where are the best neighborhoods for families in San Antonio? And the answer to that is not a short or simple one, and I would actually have several more follow-up questions for you to help me determine more specific options for you. Obviously, families that are moving to San Antonio are drawn to neighborhoods that have highly rated schools and relatively low crime rates. We've already discussed that, but that doesn't really narrow it down by much. When you are searching where to live in San Antonio, the location is usually the next biggest factor. Are you needing to be close to certain areas of the city for your work commute or medical care or the airport or etc.? Obviously, the price range that you will be shopping in is a huge factor as well, and can really play a big role in how broad or how narrow our search will be. What type of amenities are you expecting in a community? Are you wanting brand new or resale? Are you wanting a larger acreage lot? There are just so many questions to consider when choosing where you want to live in San Antonio. So if you are basing your decision solely on the best rated schools, lower crime crime rates and family-oriented neighborhoods, here are a few suggestions in some of the most popular family areas of San Antonio. Alamo Heights ISD is the highest rated district in all of San Antonio, as well as one of the higher ranks in all of Texas. There's an incredible sense of community in this area, very family-oriented with tons of community events planned throughout the year. There are 3 individual cities here: Alamo Heights, Terrell Hills, and Olmos Park, and they have some incredible mid-century homes with gorgeous landscaping and elevations. The median sales price for these San Antonio suburbs is currently at an average of around $840,000. The Stone Oak area is another great option for neighborhoods for families, also because of the highly rated schools and the district of Northeast ISD. Stone Oak is really a coveted destination spot for so many people that are moving to San Antonio, and it's very well known throughout the city. Home prices in Stone Oak are typically starting in the mid $400,000 range to well over $1 million range. Another area of San Antonio that is great for families to consider is the far west side of San Antonio. This is the fastest growing area of the city, very newly developed, and has also been a destination for families moving to San Antonio. The school district is Northside ISD, and the best part is that the homes here tend to be a little more affordable since there's still so much developing in this area. Make sure to check out these other videos that go into more specific San Antonio neighborhoods that are also great for families. The next FAQ when moving to San Antonio: I will be moving with my family to San Antonio in the near future. My wife and I are trying to decide if we should wait until next year to see if home prices drop, or if that will cost us more in the long run. What is your advice? That is a really great question, and it's also asked by many homebuyers all over the country. Even with recent interest rate increases and higher home prices and values, we're still very much in a seller's market here in San Antonio. There's still not enough inventory to satisfy the demand for homes in the area, so even though home value increases are decelerating, that doesn't at all mean that prices will be dropping. Of course, if you look at Zillow or Realtor.com or other websites like that, you have likely noticed that there are tons of price reductions happening on listed homes throughout the city. But that is more because many of those homes were listed too high from the get-go, and those sellers just did not anticipate the slowing of the market to price the home accordingly. But local experts are indicating that the values of homes will continue to appreciate, as well as continued interest rate increases, so waiting until next year could end up costing you more in the long run. Now, so far we've talked about so many FAQs that people have when moving to San Antonio and even suburbs of San Antonio. If you are looking for even more info on what it's like living in San Antonio and where to live in San Antonio, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and you will definitely want to check out this video next. As always, thanks so much for watching. I look forward to connecting with you soon, and I'll see y'all in the next video.